signed document, testifying that I promised not to pull it away.
It is signed. It's a signed document. I guess if you have a signed document in your possession, you can't go wrong. This year, I'm really gonna kick that football.
Peculiar thing about this document, it was never notarized.
Still funny. Still funny. You know why? Funny? Because it's true.
Because it's true.
Funny because it's true. Welcome back to the Young Turks. I'm guest host Jimmy Dore from the Jimmy Dore Show on KPFK in Los Angeles and the Pacifica Network. And I'm here with Frank Conniff from Mystery Science Theater 3000 and CinematicTitanic.com. Hi, Frank. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? I have a pen, so I'm very official today.
Well, that's how
everything I say has incredible weight, I feel.
That's how you can tell. Yeah, when Sean Hannity has that marker in his hat, means I'm writing things down. I'm smart, even though I never went to college, right? That's what that is.
He didn't go to college. That's
Isn't that shocking?
That's bad news for college dropouts. That makes them look bad.
He majored right in corporate ass kissing, and boy, it's really paid off for him.
Yeah, it's paid off big time.
He's not worried about Medicare.
But he's so patriotic. How come he didn't go join the army or something like that?
You know what? Everybody serves in their own way.
They do.
And the way Sean serves is by deceiving his own viewers into believing things that are against their own interest. I mean,
that's his form of patriotism.
That's right. And where is Barack Obama's long form birth certificate?
Where are his long
I love
johns?
that. Okay, let's get back to the. What's the long form birth certificate? You know that thing nobody ever heard of until we had a black president. That thing.
That's what it is.
You know that thing. I got mine. You don't have yours? I keep mine right in my wallet next to my KKK card. Right next to my long form driver's license. That's where I keep. All right, so let's get back. So everybody keeps saying we're broke, we don't have any money. And I was watching the 60 Minutes with Leslie Stahl. She does a great job and she dresses smart. And
she's one of the younger members of 60 Minutes,
yes.
too. She's 75.
Yes, so... So and they're not in jeopardy of losing, because they're grandfathered into Medicare, so they don't care. Everybody at 60 Minutes is grandfathered in. And so she sat down with David Stockman. Who was David Stockman, Jimmy? Okay. Well, he was Ronald Reagan, the Gipper. He was Ronald Reagan's budget director. Ronald Reagan. This is David Stockman.
And at the time, which I remember, he was very much considered the voice of the Reagan economics.
Oh, the Reagan Revolution. Yes. He was the guy. He He made it all happen.
Because he was very young and he was.
Yeah, he was. He's the guy doing it all different.
Right.
He's the guy who started trickle-down economics. And now we're going to find out. I'm going to play a clip from here, from him in that interview with Leslie Stahl. Now, he's really going to be describing trickle-up economics. And it's not really trickling. It's a raging river. It's a tsunami trickling up to the wealthy. Let's go ahead and play. Be ready for this clip, folks. I'm not kidding. Okay, here's David Stockman, Ronald Reagan's budget director, talking about the accumulation of wealth in America since 1980. Go ahead, clip number 14.
In 1985, the top 5% of the households, the wealthiest 5%, had net worth of $8 trillion, which is a lot. Today, after serial bubble after serial bubble, the top 5% have net worth of $40 trillion.
Oh my God.
And top 5% have gained more wealth than the whole human race had created prior to 1980.
Wow. Couldn't he have come up with a more astounding statistic than that? The entire history of the human race.
I just think we should sit in silence for a couple of seconds and just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. They've accumulated more wealth since 1980 than the entire human race had created before it.
I want to get some of this cereal bubble cereal that they're selling.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? You know what that tells me? We got to cut Medicare and Social Security.
It does, because nobody has any money except
Who's got money? We're broke, right? Go ahead. Let's play. Let's go ahead and play clip 15. Let's go ahead and play clip 15.
We're broke. It's time for us to get serious about how we're spending the nation's money.
So, and Barack Obama agrees with them. Mm-hmm. Barack Obama, you just heard from, so Barack Obama is to the right of President Reagan's budget director.
Mm-hmm. And we're broke, and yet didn't we just started fighting with Libya, right? We
Yes,
just started
we got,
sending,
yes.
Each plane that goes in is worth more than Medicare.
And every $100 million, I don't know how much those bombs cost, but we're spending a lot of money. That's all I know.
They're expensive, even though they get them at Walmart.
Some of them are hybrids, so they're saving on gas. So, yeah, so again, nobody says let's cut the wars. We always have endless, and where is the scrutiny from Christine Amanpour and George Will about how much this war in Libya is going to cost? Where's the money coming from? We're broke. Where's John Boehner? We're broke. We're broke. Did you hear the clip I just played from David Stockman? The upper 5% have accumulated more wealth than the entire human race.
Wow, that is what's known as a big Final Jeopardy round. The entire wealth.
That would. Can you? I can't. I'm still kind of. I hope you're rocking from that statistic.
And like you said, this is coming from a Reagan conservative economist who's telling us this.
Yes, this is a Reagan.
Yeah. Although Reagan now, once again, like everyone looks moderate now. Reagan seems moderate because Reagan actually did raise taxes at a certain point.
Yes.
Nixon seems moderate.
He raised taxes 8 times, President Reagan. That's what the statistic I read. And
Calvin Coolidge seems progressive now. I mean, it's weird.
Well, David Frum, who was also another Republican speechwriter for George Bush, who coined the phrase "axis of evil," he recently said that every time, this is Barack Obama's own fault, what's happening right now, because every time he concedes, it fuels the radicals on the right. He said, I have that clip, I didn't bring it, but he said that, and it's his own fault, and he said we shouldn't be cutting spending now, and he's just totally flummoxed. So when Barack Obama's fiscal policies are too conservative for David Frum, I mean, he's flummoxed. Anyway, so let's play another. I have another clip from. So you never hear. There's a couple of things you never hear how we're going to straighten out. You never hear people on television say this about how are we going to balance the budget. They always say, "Hey, everybody knows we got to cut Social Security, Medicare. Everybody knows." Everybody. Except that hasn't gotten to the country or even to the Tea Partiers, because 70% of them are against cutting. Here's what David Stockman. Here's an idea on how we can reduce the deficit. Let's go ahead and play that next clip.
Still, he says there should be a one-time 15% surtax on the wealthy that he estimates would cut the national debt in half.
Wouldn't work.
So the people who have accumulated more wealth than the entire human race had created prior to 1980 says that maybe we take some of the money from them, 15% of it, and we cut our national debt in half. You never hear someone say that. I've never heard Barack Obama say that. I've never heard no one. You're never going to hear David Gregory say that or Christine Never.
Also, when they say accumulated wealth, these people really accumulate it. In other words, they accumulate it and they keep it,
Yeah, they accumulate.
The only trickling down happens is they want their money to trickle down to cover their other money.
Yes.
So it'll go down there, and then so their other pile of money will look better because of their other money that trickled down. And that's what's so infuriating to me is Boehner and these people talking about them. They're the job creators. And these tax cut policies have been going on for 10 years now, and they haven't been creating any jobs. It's already been proven by history that this doesn't work, and yet they're insisting on it.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was a Democrat in the White House to articulate that to the people? Wouldn't that be something if we only had a Democrat to make that Democratic position that we've tried tax cuts. We did it. We did it for 10 years, and it led us to this. It led us to zero job growth. Zero. Again, they're handing these what should have happened when Barack Obama got elected is exactly what happened when FDR got elected. What should have happened is that he came out bold, progressive, and actually fixed the economy. You know, he could have stabilized the housing market. He could have did a real stimulus that put people back to work. He could have actually lowered unemployment. He could have saved people's houses. He could have got a public option that gave people health care security. He could have did all those things. He didn't do them.
Well, I mean,
Which is what FDR did do. And then he ensured a progressive majority and mindset in this country for decades. And Barack Obama missed his chance. He missed his chance to do that. The people were ready for him to go bold. They were ready for him to go big, and he missed it. And because he's a compromiser. And so now
stimulus should have been bigger.
I mean, they should do another stimulus.
Yeah.
And everybody knows, every economist says we need to stimulate. We need to, because right now, if we cut, they say we're going to have another recession. We're right now, this is what recovery feels like right now. This is a recovery.
Yeah, this is like a really depressing recovery. Recovery from alcoholism.
It's not fun.
There's no joy or anything. But I'm in recovery.
Let's go ahead.
America's in a dry drunk right now, is what I'm saying.
Yes. So we all have all the anger and rage, but none of those fun drunk times.
Yeah, exactly.
America, the dry drunk.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and play the next clip, because here's another idea to cut the budget deficit that you never hear. You never hear from a Democrat. You never hear on the TV from a talking head. You never hear from a journalist. You just never hear it. But here's David Stockman, Ronald Reagan's budget director, with another idea on how to cut the deficit. Let's go ahead and play the next one.
We hear about these acquisitions. Skype.
There should be one more. I had it labeled 21. I'm not sure what it is now. It's
but
20,
if you're
I think.
honest, we're spending 24 to 25% of GDP. Even if we have a big rollback in defense and some real entitlement reform, we're going to need revenue of 20% of GDP or more, and that means raising substantial amounts of new taxes. Now, why isn't the White House, for instance, saying we should have a tax on Wall Street, something called a transaction tax? We have massive amount of churning in the stock market every day for no purpose except the robots are trading with each other. We could easily put a tax on transactions, raise $100 billion a year, and begin to close this gap. We could put a tax on imported energy, but we don't.
But you know what? That was very insulting to robots who trade with each other every day.
Yeah, I mean, robots don't want to be taxed.
But I don't.
They're people too.
But I don't think about that much because I have robot apocalypse fatigue. So.
Oh, me too. We haven't been killed yet by robots.
Yeah, I'm just sick of hearing about it.
Quit warning me about them.
I know.
Oh, don't. I'm so tired of being warned. I'm just like George Will. So there's another idea on how to cut the budget deficit that you never hear. Why isn't the president, why isn't the White House putting a Wall Street tax, which would raise $100 billion on track for every transaction?
It might take like $1 million or so off their bonuses. So
yeah. So again, when they say shared sacrifice, you don't ask people who have nothing to sacrifice. You don't ask the most vulnerable people in our society to sacrifice to get us out of a recession.
It's like they're walking into a neighborhood and someone has lost their job, lost their home, lost their car, lost their kids, and then you go up to them in the midst of the wreckage and you say, well, you know what, now you're going to have to make some sacrifices.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, because let's face it, the people on Medicare and Social Security, you know, the poor, the sick, and the elderly have had it pretty good for quite a while, being all sick and elderly.
And they, you know, a lot of them just they live these wild lives where they have a meal every day, and that has to stop.
And they get to see a doctor when they're sick.
Yeah.
Come on. Why are you raping us? Why are you doing this? All right, we have, so those are ideas you never hear on television. Let's go ahead, can we play that clip number 5? So here is this Jake Tapper? I think it might be Jake Tapper, who is, he's talking with Diane Sawyer on ABC News, and they're going to wrap up, they're going to give us the wrap up of what President Obama and John Boehner, what they're trying to work out here.
To simplify it, it really comes down to taxes. Democrats say that you can't have all these spending cuts that hurt seniors, the poor people, student loans, without asking corporations and wealthier Americans to contribute as well. Republicans say no new taxes. You cannot raise taxes during a recession, and that's really what their head's about.
But any sign anybody's going to blink in the next couple of days?
Oh, I think who do you think's going to blink? Let's play. Can we play the end of that clip? I think. Is there anything on the end of that? Oh, that's it? Oh, did we cut it off? Oh, I had edited it together so it would have a comedic punch, but...
But you blinked.
But we blinked. Yeah, who's going to blink? I don't know. President Barack Obama's in a sandstorm right now. Are you kidding me? Blinking?
That was a clip from what is that show called? The False Equivalency Report?
I love how he said Democrats keep saying you can't have cuts to Medicare, student loans, and Social Security, and that's where it should stop. They should just say you can't do that now. Those are things that help our country. Those are good things.
Or he should have just said, and Republicans say, well, screw them.
Which is the issue. I mean, Barack Obama can't, well, we gotta move. I could talk about this forever. That's the issue. Again, I said that George Bush made me an activist, and Barack Obama is making me a cynic. And it's tough to. It's to the point where I kind of want to disengage almost from what's happening. And
that would be really horrible because I've never heard of a comedian being a cynic before. So that would be unprecedented. All right, let's go. So corporate America is sitting on $2 trillion or so, they say, right? Somehow we're still in a recession, but they've got more money than they've ever had. Again, there's this disconnect. That's what the Republicans want you to remember. Hey, things aren't bad for everybody.
For everybody. The people with money are doing great.
They're doing great.
That whole, let me just back up a second, that whole false equivalency of, well, everybody has to share sacrifice. Cutting student loans, Medicare, and Social Security is not the equivalent of taxing, putting a 2% tax on someone's millionth dollar. Those aren't equivalent. You don't cut somebody's ability to see a doctor and think it's equal with cutting someone's sprinkles on their ice cream cone. Those aren't the same thing. So, and again, Barack Obama let the Republicans frame that debate, so that's what the debate is right now.
Or as the elitists call them, Jimmys on their cone.
Remember when they used to call Barack Obama an elitist? And he is. He's the worst kind of elite. He tried to hide it, first by being born black, sneaky. And then when he was 2 years old, he talked his dad into leaving their family.
Yeah.
Thereby ensuring anything Barack achieved in his life would come from the sweat of his own brow, the brilliance of his own intellect. I don't like it.
I tried to tell him he was an elitist, but he couldn't see me through his opera glasses. So,
okay. So here's the clip. Let's get back to why I was watching Morning Joe, because I like to start off my. I don't want to watch Fox News.
We're admitting shameful things about ourselves on this show today.
This is yes. I feel like I'm at some kind of a meeting. So I was watching Morning Joe.
Morning Joe Anonymous.
Morning. I'm a Morning Joe watcher.
Hi,
Jimmy. So, Mike Barnacle, who he looks like a regular guy, but boy, he's not. Just because you don't get your teeth fixed doesn't mean that you're a regular person, right? He doesn't know what the regular people. His wife is a big executive for Bank of America.
But I'm interested in this clip to hear what he plagiarized this week.
So here's Mike Barnacle asking. He asks a good question here. Let's go ahead and play it. He actually does do a good job here. Let's hear it.
We hear about these acquisitions, Skype going for however many billions Microsoft is willing to pay for it, and all these other past acquisitions, why there continues to be no job growth, no real permanent job growth in this country.
So that's a good question. Why is there no job growth? So they had this hedge fund manager on the show that morning. And they asked this hedge fund. Now, what do the hedge fund managers always? Everybody always say? Oh, there's certainty. Well, let's go ahead and play it. He'll say it, and then we'll talk about it.
I think part of the problem is that there's not stable consistency and confidence. You know, every time we get a good leading economic indicator, we get some bad economic indicator, and so there hasn't been a stable environment by which corporations can feel comfortable to make permanent employment decisions.
Yeah, see, then I got all this money, and boy, I really could use a few more workers because a lot of people want to buy my stuff, but I'm just nervous. That's the theory. That's the theory. They have a. Well, that's a that's a BS theory.
But they feel very secure just transferring huge amounts of money from one bank account to another bank account.
They're very safe.
That's all Wall Street has done for years now, is just transfer paper around. They don't.
Their money. Well,
they
FDR
don't
used
create jobs. They haven't fed the economy and added to the innovation and growth of our country. They just send a piece of paper from here over there, and then it comes back. And at the end of the day, someone wins, someone loses.
They're the largest sector of our economy, and they produce nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They produce nothing. FDR referred to them as money changers, which is what they are. And he did.
And now they're not even willing to change.
They're not even willing. So here's some. I don't know if Mark Haynes, who was the CNBC anchor who died recently unexpectedly.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, he was the real deal, which is, of course, we lose all the good guys, right?
Mm.
So he was on the show that morning, and he answered the same question. Let's hear what his answer is.
I think it has nothing to do with confidence. Companies hire when they see more demand for their goods or services, period, the end. When business picks up, they hire. If business doesn't pick up, they don't hire.
Well, you've got 7% growth in the average earnings of the S&P 500 over the last 4 years.
Yeah, but you haven't had that kind of growth in the average earnings of the average worker, and that's who buys stuff. So until those people start buying more stuff, companies aren't going to hire.
So there's a real effect. So he just told that guy, hey, by the way, you're full of crap, by the way, because that's not true. Exactly. When you have a demand for your product, you hire people so you can service that demand. That's what happens. What happens right now is they don't have a demand for their product because the people who are supposed to buy stuff, the workers, their wages have been stagnant for 30 years. And they don't have any money. And they have income insecurity. They have employment insecurity right now. That is the problem. So instead of Barack Obama fixing that problem and putting money, doing what FDR did, demand-side economics, putting money in the pockets of workers so they can buy stuff, they keep doing it backwards. They keep giving money to the people who are already sitting on $2 trillion.
Who have all this money, and they're like, well, the situation is unstable.
It's unstable. I only have $2 trillion.
I have to keep all my money.
I'd like to hire someone at $50,000 a year, but I only have $2 trillion.
Right.
So it made me feel good to be able to come on here and share that clip with everybody. And did you see the dumbfounded look on that hedge fund manager? I don't even know what that guy's name was. I wish I did, but I've seen him in a couple other shows. And
you don't know what his name is, and nobody knows exactly what he does.
No, you're right.
He's a hedge fund manager.
Because he's a hedge fund manager. And so it was good to see has nothing to do with certainty or uncertainty or, it's not stable yet, and Barack's got to make sure and take the uncertainty out of everybody. It's not what it's about.
And according to the Republicans, we'll take the uncertainty away if we don't give them any more, if they don't have to pay any more taxes.
Yeah.
That way they'll just feel more secure sitting on the money they have and
not spending it.
Not spending it, yeah.
Yes, so it's the results are in, folks. Trickle-down economics doesn't work. Supply-side economics doesn't work. The results are in. Barack Obama actually said that stuff during the campaign, and now that stuff's out the window. And
as are people on Wall Street jumping out the window themselves.
I wish. I don't know. Is that a little harsh?
No. It's not the good old days like 1929 when they jumped out the window.
Right. Let me just say this about Wall Street. If I could screw my wife half as good as Wall Street has screwed our economy, I wouldn't have to go through her emails. How about that? And it's going to be weird the next time you go in to get a loan, which I don't even know if they give loans anymore. Hey, I'd like to buy a house. Oh, sure, just put 100% down. That's not how it works. No, that's how it works now, because they screwed it up that badly. And who has to pay? You have to pay. They screwed up, and you have to pay. That's how it always goes. Okay, we're at the... It's been a fun hour, huh, Frank? Did you have a good time?
I enjoyed myself. Whew. I hope the people out there did.
I'm sweating everywhere except my face.
Everyone out there in internet land.
I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you after the break. Anna's going to come on, and we'll talk about more stuff. I'm Jimmy Dore. This is Frank Conniff.
Thank you.
After the break.
Welcome back to the Young Turks. Anna Kasparian and Jimmy Dore with you. Legislators in Colorado are thinking about, they're proposing a law or a bill that would make daycare centers have at least 3 different races for dolls. Okay, they're worried that right now daycare centers only have white dolls. They want to have dolls, some of them might be Latina dolls, some of them might be black dolls. Doesn't matter, as long as there are 3 races under this bill, the daycare center will be deemed acceptable.
I think that's a good idea, actually. Does that make me a pinko liberal? I don't know. I think that's look. They're the baby. Oh, there they are. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Now as I look at them, it looks a little silly.
No, it's. I guess I know that it comes from a good place, and overall, I'm in favor of it. I definitely would like to see diversity in the dolls, because you can't just have white dolls at the daycare centers. But it feels like the government is micromanaging here.
Well, the government told them to do that?
Yes, it would be a law. It would be an actual law. And if it becomes a law, how do you enforce it? Like, do police officers go to the daycare centers and check out the doll? Like, let me see your inventory of dolls. I would like to see and make sure you have 3 different races. And then how do you determine if a doll is a Latina doll, or if a doll is, an Indian doll? Or, like, how do you know? Or is it the way they're dressed, or I don't know.
That's a Samoan doll. That's not gonna work. I don't know, what would they then?
I don't know. I just think that it's a little much to make it a law. But I'm in favor of it overall. Like, I like the idea of it, but I don't like the idea of the government micromanaging daycare centers and making sure that their toys are acceptable.
But what I do like is that Colorado has their head on straight, and they're tackling the tough issues that are facing Coloradans these days. Coloradans? Coloradoans? Denverites? Pueblos? And they have medical marijuana in Colorado.
I read about that.
Which I'm.
Go Colorado.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing about it I have my medical marijuana license.
Oh, you do?
Yes, because I have had a lot of anxiety issues, and I'm mostly anxious about not getting pot, and now I'm cured. And the only bad thing is when you get your medical marijuana license, your pot-smoking friends come out of the woodwork.
Do they really?
And I'm like, why don't you get your own license and go buy your own pot? And they all say the same thing. And they'll go, well, I'm afraid if I do, my name's going to end up on some kind of a government list.
Right.
Yeah, it ends up on a list of people who can buy pot. It's not the no-fly list. It's the yes-I list. All right, so that's my little medical marijuana.
But I think that's a legitimate concern.
What is the concern? That you're going to end up on a government list?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that'll actually happen, but
now that the FBI is raiding pot stores again, which they are under Barack Obama's direction, and the FBI is also raiding the houses of anti-war protesters again.
Of course, that's the government keeping it classy.
Yeah, that's really happening. The people who were in Minneapolis protesting at the convention, their house got... the FBI went in and ransacked their house, took all their stuff, and it's a great country. It's a great country.
It's the land of the free.
Yeah, home of the brave. People brave enough to stand up with the government against the people. Is that what they mean when they say that?
I guess so.
Okay, all right.
So you are in favor of this law, or are you saying that?
Well, I'm not in favor of a law. I didn't know it was a law. But yeah, that's bad. You can't. Right? You don't think they should make a law?
No, I don't think they should make a law. I think that it comes from the right place, but it's an example of too much government. And overall, I think that the daycare centers, I know that this is a ridiculous argument, but they should, make that decision for themselves. And they should do the right thing and have different types of dolls. And if they don't do it, by the way, what would the punishment be? Would they shut down the daycare center? It's not a well thought out law, in my opinion. How do you enforce it, and then how do you punish?
Nobody gets dolls. Let me see. Nobody gets dolls. That's it. That says, shut up, kid. I'm doing this for you. Nobody gets dolls. Right? Isn't that it?
I guess.
Okay. I want to see an Italian doll. I want to see a Taiwanese doll in here.
What about an Armenian doll?
What about Latvian? Right? People are from Latvia. It happens.
Right.
What about Armenia? Are you Armenian?
I am Armenian.
Oh, okay. Glendale?
Yeah, I don't live in Glendale, but every time I say I'm Armenian, someone mentions that city.
I drive through it on the way home. I live in Pasadena.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My favorite Glendale story is from when I was a kid. I remember my mom was driving me through Glendale, and I saw an El Pollo Loco that had a sign that said, "We're hiring," in Armenian.
Really?
Yeah, it was hilarious. Armenian writing on an El Pollo Loco restaurant. It was great.
There's that one day a year when I drive from Pasadena through Glendale to come to Hollywood, and they'll have the Armenian
The genocide
Yeah,
marches?
the genocide. And so then they take off work and everything, and man, traffic just smooth, flies right through Glendale on that day.
Oh, really?
I did notice that, though. Like, oh, there's not much traffic today. I did notice that. That's what I noticed. Okay, maybe somebody, I don't know much about the Armenian genocide. Do you?
I do. I know a lot about the Armenian genocide.
Okay, let's not talk about it.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject.
Let's not talk about it. Sorry I brought it up.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on.
So,
let's move on to something lighter.
Yeah, like dolls.
Yeah, or sexist ads. All right, got milk ads are now being criticized as sexist. I'll give you an example. There's one ad campaign known as Everything I Do Wrong, and this campaign is actually focused in on men. And what they're arguing is that calcium and vitamin D can help with PMS symptoms. But the reason why it's targeted toward men is so it can help alleviate the pain that they feel when their girlfriends or wives are going through that time of the month. So there's the ad right there.
I'm sorry, I listened to what you said and not what you meant. And he's bringing home milk because his wife is such a raving bitch.
Right, while she's on her period.
Right,
so let me ask you something, Jimmy Dore. Do you see that as a sexist ad?
I think it comes from what would typically be considered a sexist place, but I don't think the intent is sexist.
I don't think the intent was sexist either. I think it was their intent was to be funny.
Yeah. Like this poor guy and...
Oh, this poor guy. He has to deal with a woman who's bleeding out of her vagina this month. Like, yeah, it's
Is that where it comes from?
It's horrible for women, too.
That is gross. That you don't do that. I know, you're pretty and nice.
Never, exactly, no. No, but it's ridiculous. Like, oh, poor guy. And I can understand, like, some women get emotional, and there's, like, this stereotype that they become raging bitches, and it's something that it's a stereotype that women have to deal with, right? But it's so stupid to focus this ad on men, like, oh, drink some milk, it'll alleviate the pain that you feel every month when your woman is going through the cramps and bloating and the horrible moodiness.
Is that what it was? Or was it? It sounds like, at least, I don't know, maybe I should see the ad closer, but it sounds like it was saying PMS symptoms are quelled or you have less pain or something like that. So he's bringing home milk to his wife so she can shut the fuck up. That's what it sounds like they were saying. Not that the man has to take it so he can chill out.
No, it's for her. It just said at the bottom of the ad, it says milk has been shown to help alleviate symptoms of PMS.
Right, it's for her. It's for her.
Right. So,
but the campaign ad is targeted at men. Like these ads, like it'll be in men's magazines. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's not in women's magazine. So it's like saying like, it's that time of the month for the bitch. Let's give her some milk so she'll shut the fuck up.
But you know what? I see it as, and I've had this kind of a comparison before on the show. It's similar to the ads where there's a woman in the house. She's the clean one. She's the smart one, and her husband is the dumb ass who stumbles around over chairs. And she's like,
it's the Carl's Jr. ads where they don't know how to make lunch for themselves.
Yeah, the guy can't even. Yeah, he steps in a bucket. Sexist. He hits his head.
I think that's sexist.
And it's a stereotype, but we accept it's funny.
Yeah.
But like there's the Yoplait ad or something where there's yogurt and she's talking to the girl on the phone. Yeah, I've got lemon meringue pie. I've got apple pie. I've got this. And he's like, he starts sifting through the refrigerator looking for this pie and he's pushing by all the Yoplait. Like
Isn't that an accurate depiction of men though?
Exactly, see.
Yes, men are morons, and it's true.
By the way, that Yoplait ad, I see myself as the man in that ad because that's exactly what I would do. I'd be like, wait, there's lemon meringue pie in the fridge? Where?
Well, it is amazing. All those commercials where the guy's the doofus, like the woman's inside doing the books and cleaning the house, and he's out, he's outside caught in some twine, and he's hitting his head on the barbecue grill, and no one ever gets upset. I mean, just about every commercial that depicts a man and a wife, the guy's the doofus, and I guess that's okay, right? Because it's Goliath still. Men are still a patriarchal society, and men are dominant, and we've never had a woman president. I guess that makes it okay. But when we have a woman president, that shit is over.
Oh, okay. I'll watch out.
Just like, I don't know if you guys know, but since we elected Barack Obama, racism is over.
Oh, absolutely. And, the black people who think that racism exists just have a chip on their shoulder, according to Dr. Laura. I'll never forget that quote. It just drives me crazy.
Hey, Dr. Laura let us know that racism is over, and the way she let us know is by calling a woman the N-word 11 times on her show, just to prove it.
Just to prove it.
And who better to declare racism over than a rich, white, out-of-touch millionaire?
Absolutely.
Who better to know? Right? I mean, and if you remember with the Dr. Laura, she was saying to the women the reason why it was okay for her to use the N-word to her was because black comics say it all the time on Def Jam on HBO.
Right, absolutely.
And I was like, I always wondered who was watching the Def Jam. Turns out it's Dr. Laura. I was at an Earthquake concert. I was like, is that Dr. Laura? I thought it was pretty sure it was Dr. Laura. And so that's her whole thing is that and boy, she was waiting to unload the N-word. You heard that.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's like, well, it's on HBO. You guys say it. What's the problem? They say it on HBO. So is that the litmus test now, Dr. Laura, for stuff that we can say? If they say it on HBO, then it's okay?
Right.
It's like, hey, that guy, my landlord's really pissing me off. I'm going to hire some Italian guys to kill him. That's what they do on HBO.
That's true. That's true.
And if you don't have HBO, how do you know how to act in public? How do you know it's okay to say, can I say the N-word? I don't know. I don't have HBO.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, that's my Dr. Laura rant.
No, I love the Dr. Laura rant. Dr. Laura's story, even though it's a couple months old, almost a year old now.
Yeah, it's a year old.
I think it's still extremely relevant because you see cases like that all the time. And by the way, with Dr. Laura, it wasn't even it wasn't the fact that she said the N-word, it was the way she said it. And she said it with so much hate.
The bile in her, in her was, and then she goes, my bodyguard Marcus, who's my good friend, no, he's your employee.
Right.
He's not your good friend. That's it. Oh, Donald Trump did the same thing, right? So when he got called out for his race baiting, right, he goes on Fox and Friends and says, oh, you know what, one of our apprentices, the guy who won The Apprentice 3 years ago, was a black guy. And he's one of our, sure, so how could you be racist? Some of your best employees are black. That's what he's saying. And, I thought it was ironic that he went on Fox and Friends to declare that he wasn't a racist.
Right.
And then he went to a liquor store to declare he wasn't an alcoholic. And then he went to a proctologist's office so you could finish the joke yourself. It's fun, Anna. Are we having a good time? This is a good time.
I'm having a good time.
All right.
Jesus is having a good time. He's cracking up over there.
All right, we're all having a good time. All right.
Riverside, California County Supervisor Jeff Stone wants to divide California into two different states. He wants to have a liberal California and a conservative California.
Totally for this. Totally for. I've already thought about it.
I actually am for it as well. Now, what's funny is Los Angeles is considered Southern California, right? Except under his proposal, Los Angeles would be left out of the South California section of the state. I don't know. Maybe we'll take Los Angeles and make it like its own little island or something.
It would be like Berlin, split it up. Right?
Yeah.
That'd be like the one place where we're liberal.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So the parts of California that he would like to use for the conservative state would be Riverside, Fresno, Imperial, Kern, Kings, Madera, Mariposa. Am I pronouncing that right?
I love that Mariposa show. He always has is it the daddy or is it the daddy? I like it. You go, Mari. Mariposa.
I've never heard of Mariposa. Whatever.
I think it's Mariposa.
Mariposa. There we go. That's what I was trying to pronounce. Okay. Orange, San Bernardino, San Diego, and Tulare.
And there's a place called Mono you skipped.
Oh, Mono. Sorry about
Mono,
that. By the way, I've lived in California my entire life. I've never heard of Mono or Tulare or...
Mono, it's where, my throat always when I go up there. Isn't that Mono Lake? Isn't there a place called Mono Lake? Isn't that?
I guess. I don't know. But since it's a conservative part of California, I don't really give a shit.
I just want everybody to know, I just saw myself on the monitor. There's no makeup person here, okay? Normally, when you have cameras and lights, you have makeup, and God darn, I still look good, though. I just want to let you know, if you're used to oh, Jim, it's a little jarring when we see you on TV, it's usually...
Well, I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but at least you think so.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, you have makeup on, so you know what
Please.
you're doing.
I'm professional with the makeup.
Yes, you are.
I have a vanity mirror and everything that Jesus bought me for my birthday. It lights up and everything.
Really?
Magnifies. I can see every pore. I get all pretty for you guys, okay?
I have to put on I'm to the age now where I have to put on my reading glasses so I can trim my ear hair, which is nice. Right? Sexy.
So sexy.
Sexy, right?
God, I'm so turned on right now. I don't know what to do with myself. Cheaterville is a new website that will tell you if your partner is cheating.
How?
What happens is, if your partner had previously cheated in a different relationship, that person that was cheated on can report him to cheaterville.com. By the way, it doesn't have to be a him. It could also be a her. So
Yes.
anyone who is cheated could be reported to this website. And then all you do is go onto the website, cheaterville.com, you type in their name, and all of a sudden, bloop, 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 you see everything.
So you see how many times they've been reported as cheaters?
Right.
Yeah, but it's all different with you, baby. I ain't gonna cheat. I love you. All those women, I was trying to find you.
Exactly.
I've been looking, but I got you now. What do I need? I don't need nothing. That's the past. I love you.
You sound like my boyfriend. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's right, isn't that? I mean, that's an easy fix. I could fix that cheater's website, and they're gonna bring me down. They're gonna have someone come in and stick my underwear. They're gonna try to bring me down for cheating.
You bring up a really good point, though, because let's say I were to research my boyfriend to see if he's cheated, and I found some dirt on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
What am I gonna do? Like, oh, look, you cheated in your past relationships. It's over. We're done.
Yeah, I didn't like how you treated Karen.
By the way, he did cheat in past relationships.
Who didn't? Everybody
exactly,
cheats.
exactly.
Everybody cheats in past relationships.
Especially when you're young and you're experimenting and you're having fun, a little dibble dibble, a little dabble dabble.
Yeah, and you're kind of a whore or a jerk. You know, you whatever. You go out, you dip your stick and in the bing and the bang, you know. Come on, we're human beings. We're not trustworthy. Right?
Exactly.
Exactly. All's fair in love and war and sex especially.
But one thing that you could do...
But I swear to God, I'd never cheat on you.
You'd never cheat on
me.
me.
You're the one. Are you kidding me? You're the one.
Another thing that you can see on the website is how many times a person has been searched on cheaterville.com.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean searched?
So let's say I search Jimmy Dore. It'll tell me Jimmy Dore has been searched on this website 3 times.
Oh, I see what you're
which
saying.
will make me think like, why are there other women searching for you?
Oh, I see. So if there's concurrent searches happening, you're like, there's another woman seeing if you're cheating.
Exactly.
But then if someone else wants to screw you, they can just go start Googling, seeing if you're cheating, and then your significant other. See, there's too much. Don't believe them, baby. They're trying to break us up.
And also, you can't believe everything you read on the internet. There could be someone that you've completely dissed. You didn't want to date them, right? And they feel like they need revenge, and they can go on that website and say Joe Schmo did me wrong and dirty.
Right. Yes. I had that. I've had that. Had a girl say, Facebook is not good for that kind of stuff. Remember when you broke up with me over the phone? Remember because you were banging my friend? Do you remember that?
Oh, drunk.
Yeah. So you can't respond. You can't. No friend request to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
No respond to the old girl. You just can't do it, right? Do you respond to old boyfriends on Facebook? None of my business. Let's move on.
I honestly had one serious boyfriend prior to the boyfriend I have now, and he was computer illiterate, so he's not on Facebook.
So you choose well.
I do choose well. Yeah. I do choose. He was a loser. I've been very open and honest about my past boyfriend, but I started dating him when I was 14, of course.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to date a winner at 14.
Yeah. What are you dating the guy?
Unless you're Jesus Godoy.
or you bump into the guy from the Green Mile. Mm-hmm. Right? That guy was married a 15-year-old country singer.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm like, Green Mile. What's the name of that actor?
I don't know, but I met him. I went out. I met him one time, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I was a friend of a friend. I never knew he was that kind of... That's weird, right?
I think it's weird, but to be fair, his 16-year-old fiancée, or are they married at this point?
I think they got married.
Okay, his 16-year-old wife does not look 16. In fact, I think she's lying about her age. She looks
That's
like she's 25.
That's what people say. People say she's lying about her age, but...
She looks more mature than I do. It's impossible for her to be 16.
She does look a little... Hey, you know what? She does look a little older than you.
She does. Yeah. She's like, I don't know. She looks older, that's for sure. But not in a bad way. She's just very sexy.
No, not in a bad way. I just mean she looks twice her age, and I can't wait to see her in 10 more years when she looks like a complete hag.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that the sun is going to get to her because she obviously doesn't use sunscreen. If you've seen her, she's already got wrinkles and she's 16.
Big bags under her eyes.
I don't mean that in a bad way, but you could probably smell her before you see her, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, you know what? Stop me if I go too far.
You've gone on too far.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy, we've got to take a quick break, okay?
Oh, okay, another one.
After we take a break, we'll come back with a 21-year-old who died after playing Russian roulette.
Oh, that's how that game ends a lot, I've heard. I've heard.
We'll be back.